Well, the weather didn't really change overnight, and I don't know if it's just the wind. I think it was just the wind finally got a little bit of moisture in the tent. But I'm up, I've got my coffee drink, and it looks like sun might come out. But I'm going to get things in the tent, or in the pack, while I'm in the tent, and get moving. Well, that dry spot is because of me. Let's see if you can hear me. I did have a neighbor last night, got there as it was pouring. He said he was going to stay at that campsite a mile back, but there was people there cowboy camping, which means just having your bedroll laid out without the tent. And I wonder how their night went. 18 miles to the cabin. My tent is soaked, but and I know that there's more hikers behind me. I think about 2 hikers I talked to yesterday said that where they got to the White Pass, there was like 10 hikers starting. So I don't expect to have the cabin to myself, but I hope to get there soon enough to be able to dry out gear before it fills up. And after I woke up and was thinking about getting out in this, it was still raining pretty good then. It stopped. But deciding what layers to wear. I knew I was going to wear the poncho. I've got my long sleeve shirt on underneath with the sleeves pushed back. I'm wearing my wool gloves because it's going to be cold and wet, and wool works even whenever it's wet. Maybe not as well as whenever it's dry, but my thin hiking gloves just weren't going to cut it today. Coming down from up there, if you can hear me over the wind. And I'm going that way. And I might be just hopeful thinking, but it might be clearing up. Coming from that way, and it looks like I'm just about out of it. Heading up that way, I'm going to find a flat spot and start taking off some layers. See if you can see that. I've been hearing a lot of elk bugle calls today. Sound totally different from the ones I heard whenever I was over around the hunters. These sound like something out of Jurassic Park. And I coming from that way, and it kind of looks like another burned area. Going up that way. On this hike, I've seen strawberries before they bloom. I've seen strawberries in bloom. And I've seen strawberries after their fruit is gone. But I did not get any wild strawberries. I'm going to have to write a letter to somebody. Coming up from down there, that's what looks like a hitching post. Makes me think that there's a campsite somewhere around. I've gone about 4 miles. And I'm heading that way. Be nice to get out of the cloud, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Coming from that way. Kind of looks like the cloud's flowing uphill. Going that way, and it looks a little bit thinner over there, so I might still get out of it. Hitting it a lot because I think it's neat. Just while I've been going, that whole valley where I was at has gotten filled in with the fog cloud. But it looks like I'm getting ahead of it. Let it fill up that valley. And hopefully I'll have a new view here. Didn't really get a good shot of that valley as it's filling up with a cloud, but I just think that's cool. I could sit and watch that all day. That's kind of cool too. Well, it looks like I'll be getting into some more cloud. Going that way. Coming from over there. And I imagine this is going to be another long video. I did not edit the video yesterday whenever I made camp because I didn't want to. And I kind of think it's going to take some time, not only because of how much footage I've got, but because I want to be very selective, make sure that the shots that I keep show what I want to show. Heading that way. Well, got me a bottle of spring water. It's about 7.5 miles to the next water source. And this is just gorgeous down here. The spring was back there, and just in the time it took me to get some water, this cloud bank started flowing over the side here. And I told a couple of hikers were there drying out their gear, and I told them, I'm going to get going. I got itchy feet. Of course, that could just be my neoprene socks. And I thought it was clever. They didn't even laugh. But the only piece of gear I have that's really wet is my tent, and my plan is to not need it tonight. It looks damp, and the trees are a little bit drippy, but not bad. And this is where that cloud's just now spilling down. But it's 11 o'clock, so that would have been several hours more of hiking yesterday to get here. Coming from that way, and that cloud's kind of moving this way. But it's so nice to be in the sunshine. Almost, ignore the fact that I'm in a burn area. Going that way, about another mile before I start heading uphill again. There, you can see it moving in. Coming from over there, leaving this valley behind for a little bit. It's noon, and I think it's time to get these neoprene socks off. Hopefully I'm done with the clouds. Coming from that way, and it looks like the clouds are starting to get up in the sky where they belong. But I'm starting a mile of uphill, and it looks like it's about 500 foot. And then for the rest of the day, I'll have a little half mile of up here, half mile of up there, but mostly downhill. Coming from that way, clouds are up, but they're up here where I'm at. Here, let me go back. I don't know if I mentioned it yesterday, but that knot in my leg feels so much better, and my feet have been feeling better. Almost done with the mile of uphill, and yeah, I'm feeling good. Getting into some live trees. Came from over there. It's moving, but it's up there. Heading over there. And this cloud is up there. It's still a little bit cool coming from that way. And this is nice. Even got some pine needles to walk on. So yeah, about 8 miles to the cabin. It's 1 o'clock. I've done about 1,400 foot of up. I've only got about 700 foot of uphill left. And then down I should have paid more attention. I think it's like 2,000 or something. Anyway, if the weather holds up, this is going to end a beautiful day. Strawberry plants have been really thick through here, and I've been watching, and I found one. I'm going to enjoy it. Anyway, I'm going that way. Coming from up there, and at the time I didn't notice some of the clouds spilling over right there. And I'm coming over, this ridge comes down, and I'll be going into cloud again. Going that way. Well, here's water. Decent flow, looks all right. But I still had a bottle from that last spring because it's just been cool and haven't been drinking it. So I'm just going to drink it because I think it's only about 5 miles to the cabin. This is what the last few miles have looked like. Coming from over there. Going that way. Trail goes that way. Now I'm leaving the burn area, or stepping out of it again into some live trees, and the temperature is dropping. It was up to 60 at one point, and now it's 50. Coming from that way, and everything is damp. The trail is damp. Coming across some pretty significant blowdowns, and the trail's also getting crowded. I think I've walked up on 3 more hikers. So I bet the cabin's going to be crowded, but that's all right. Yeah, that was easy. And this is Meadow Creek. I'll come and get water here after I go check out the cabin, make sure I have a spot. A little foamy. Mike Urich Cabin. Oh, it looks bright on the screen. It looks dark to me. I'll get a shot outside after I ask the other hikers if they agree to be in on video. Here, I'm going to put the phone away and go look. So here's the loft area, and I'm going to pick a spot probably right over there. Then I'll see the outside. And then back here, there's an outhouse. They also have a little bit of wood cut. All right, I need to get my tent out to dry and see about starting a fire, getting water, getting dinner. Good times. I'm not trying to cook the place or use up all their firewood. And luckily, other hikers were more than happy to let me start the fire because I like being the fire guy.